Hello everyone and welcome to Spoilers Obviously. I'm your host Joel, and with me today once again my lovely wife.
Hello. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So, whenever Moses is not available, I will force my wife against her will
This time I came willingly.
to do these episodes with me.
Yes. A little coercion and I joined along.
Yes. So today we are going to talk about Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 5.
Wow, episode 5 already.
Yeah, we are now in mid-season. There are 10 episodes and we are now in the middle of it.
I feel like we almost should be farther for being 5 episodes in.
Well, we are doing a lot of time jumps. So
That's true.
But I have to say, this is the first episode that there is not really a time jump, because usually 6 months, then a year, then 3 years. But now between episode 5 and episode 4, maybe a month, maybe.
Yeah.
So there's no real time jump over here. But there's going to be an insane time jump between episode 5 and episode 6. So
is this the last time we get to see Rhaenyra as young Rhaenyra?
yes. So yeah, I do want to get into fun facts before we actually get into the episode. So, fun fact number 1, there are rumors, and rumors means it's not necessarily going to happen and it's not necessarily true, but there are rumors for a new prequel show that is going to be called 10,000 Ships.
Huh.
And this show is going to take place 1,000 years before Game of Thrones, which means 800 years before House of the Dragon.
Okay.
And the protagonist, main character, is going to be Princess Nymeria. Now, if Nymeria is a familiar name to you...
Nope.
Well then. So, do you remember Arya Stark?
Yeah, of course.
So, the Starks, all of them had a direwolf. And
Right.
she named her direwolf Nymeria after this princess that is going to be in this show, if this show ever actually happens.
Huh.
So
you said it's about there's ships involved?
Yes.
Does that include like their migration from...
So
Or am I mixing this up with
No.
Lord
So
of the Rings?
you are mixing a bit, but no. So Nymeria is a princess. I'm not sure of her entire story. I do know a little bit, but she, traveled a lot, obviously on ships, 10,000 ships. And she does discover Dorne, and there's a lot of battles, and she did want to know what is west of Westeros, and that is also Arya. By the end of Game of Thrones, she is like, everyone asks her, what are you going to do next?
Right.
Like, I'm going to discover what is west of Westeros, just like Princess Nymeria did.
Right.
So basically,
She's definitely the adventurous one, so she's taking after her a bit.
Yeah, so if this show does take place, will happen. So we are going to see that happening. So that is fact number 1. I would love to see, again, a TV show, a prequel to Aegon the Conqueror. If you're already if you're doing a lot of prequels and building more shows about this world, I would love to see Aegon the Conqueror and Bran the Builder, the guy who built the wall, So I would love to see those prequels as well. But in generally, I'm enjoying this show. There's also rumors about another TV show that is after Game of Thrones called Snow. It's about Jon Snow. Yeah,
so original.
Yeah, I don't know how valid or how important that would be to the story, because what can you really tell us? And it's only about one character, unless if he's going to basically kill his brother Bran and take over the throne, and here I'm now the king of Westeros. But I don't believe
That's not really Jon's character, though. That's
exactly. So
true to him.
I don't know exactly what is there to do with that story. But with that, let's actually get into our episode.
Yeah.
So we start this episode with a new character in the Vale. She's on a horse with some guy. And if you remember the veil, do you remember the tower on a very tall mountain?
Yeah, the
And
one that,
that-
someone gets pushed out of.
Yeah, through
bottom.
the moon door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the veil.
Okay.
So this is where
The
we are.
crazy woman was breastfeeding her like 15-year-old
Yeah.
child or something.
That crazy,
8-year-old,
yeah,
something
that
like
crazy lady is Catelyn Stark's sister.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the veil. So now so you can imagine to yourself where we are in the map. So we see this young princess in the veil, and she is.
She's not that young.
Well, no, she's not that young, but she's like what, in her 20s. She's still considered young.
Yeah, I guess.
She's not like in her 50s or something like that.
Right, that's for sure.
Anyways, so she is the one to inherit the castle, and she is married to Daemon, and we do see Daemon talk about her from time to time. He does say like, the sheep in the veil are way prettier than the woman in the veil.
Right. He despises his wife.
He despises exactly. He despises her, and I don't know why. When I saw her, I was like, okay, yeah, she's pretty. She looked
a little mean though. I mean,
I know she looked
rightfully so.
She looked badass to me. I was like, damn, I want to see more of you. But Daemon,
Daemon's super egotistical though, so I'm sure that's quite threatening to his masculine egotistical self to have a woman who's strong and clearly capable of holding her own. And even I think that was her guard in the beginning that she rode up past. And he was like, would you like me to accompany you or something along those lines? And she's like, no, like, I'm good. Like, I don't need your help. And Daemon doesn't really seem to like that type.
Yeah, could be. But I think there's a bigger picture. I don't think that was the reason why he killed her. I think...
No, I didn't say that was the reason why he killed her. I just said that I can understand why he is the way he is towards her. Like, he can't stand her for multiple reasons, and I think one of them being how strong of a character she is, like, of a person.
I can see that. I do
like,
know
she's a threat.
I don't know. I don't see her as a threat. He keeps saying how marriage is a political thing and it's stupid, and we do know that he wants to climb the ladder to be a ruler, to basically be on the Iron Throne.
Right.
So,
And he does make a political move out of her death.
Yeah, he's now the one who rules over the Vale.
Right.
So, he is climbing up the ladder. He knows he won't be the king, so he's going to control the entire land.
Yeah.
Basically. That's, what I think his move is. And eventually, he will marry Rhaenyra according to the books, but not anytime soon.
Spoiler.
Well, yes and no.
Anyway, so we see this woman in the veil.
Yes, and he does. He kills her brutally, and then we jump to the king on a ship with Rhaenyra on the way to, basically proposing Rhaenyra to Laenor Valyrian, the son of Corlys Valyrian, who is the one we saw with Daemon in the battle with the crab feeder.
Right.
So, that's what the king is doing, and Corlys is like, well, what's going to happen once they marry and have kids? I want to make sure my line continues. And he said, you know what? Fine, your line will continue up till the kid will be a king. He will change his name to Targaryen, because a Targaryen must always be on the Iron Throne. Mm-hmm. And he says, sure, no problem.
I thought that was a weird thing to agree to.
I think that was an okay thing, an okay agreement. But then later we see Laenor and Rhaenyra walking down the beach, and basically they do tell us, and I did suspect this, that Laenor is actually gay.
Right.
And
they come to an agreement.
And yeah, they come to an agreement to an open marriage that basically we will fulfill our duties, we will get married to each other, we will have, a kid with each other, 1 or 2, whatever, but we will also be okay with sleeping around with other people. Mm-hmm. And both of them said yeah, sure, no problem. So this is a happy marriage. And, I can't really blame them because yes, he's gay, she's not, but they are betrothed to one another. So like, oh, what now? Do we need to suffer our entire lives together?
Right.
So
like duty calls, and that's the only reason why they're in the shoes that they're in now.
Yeah. So they made this deal, and that is a good compromisation by Rhaenyra, and it shows kind of a good leadership in a way. But yeah, then later on we jump to the wedding, and not the red wedding, but there is a little red over there. There is blood.
Yeah.
Actually, before we even jump to the wedding,
There's celebrations before.
Yeah, before the celebration, we actually come back to Westeros, and we see the king then faints, and then we see the king and his body basically decaying and inflamed, and all the fungus that is basically built up on his body.
Yeah, it's really nasty.
That is, all from the cuts. Now, the last episode I said that I believe he's going to die this episode. I'm going to admit that I was wrong. I was very wrong this episode, but I was not wrong about seeing people die. I did suspect people dying in the wedding. And it
is Game of Thrones after all.
It is Game of Thrones. If you say because people died in the wedding, according to the Dothraki, this was a good, successful wedding.
Really?
Yes, because there is no good wedding without death in it, according to Dothraki
that's one of the
customs.
Criteria for a good wedding.
Yeah,
like,
so
we have fireworks; they have
death.
Death.
Yeah. So if you think about it, the red wedding is a fantastic wedding, according to Dothraki. But no, over here we have only one person dies violently as well. After the king and we see his injuries and all that, we then see Alicent calling on Sir, I forget his name, but he's the king's god of Rhaenyra, and
right,
and she confronts him.
Kid, yeah,
she confronts him because she still doesn't believe Rhaenyra to be a virgin, and she believes that Daemon and Rhaenyra slept with one another. And because he is Rhaenyra's king's god, so she believes he knows the answer.
I think the real reason why she was pursuing more answers from him, though, is because I think it's a friend of her father's or a family member, her uncle, something like that, came to... Or no, was that later?
No, it was the cripple guy who was playing mind games. He said, Rhaenyra is not well because they
I'm
gave
thinking of someone else that happened during the celebration. We'll get to what I'm talking about in a second. But yes, there was also the cripple guy.
He's basically another type of Littlefinger. He's playing mind games. He somehow, because he always sits with the ladies, so the ladies, we don't see this, and this is what I kind of upset with this show. They don't show us a lot. They kind of skim through it. But at the same
we did see it for a second. But that's
we saw at the end of the last episode, but we did see him sitting with how did he acquire this information? We don't see that. In Game of Thrones,
the same way that her father acquired information. I'm sure he's got spies and ears everywhere.
No, her father acquired information because Otto, the hand of the king, said this little kid came and told me. And this is, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so he's the king's spy. The Otto's spy.
The kid is Otto's spy, but the king doesn't have any spies. This is the thing. My point is that in Game of Thrones, we see how people acquire information, and over here we don't see how they acquire information. Anyways, he acquired the information that Rhaenyra is sick or something is wrong with her, and then he goes to Alicent, tells her that, and this is why Alicent now goes to Rhaenyra's king's god and interrogates him to find out, is she actually pregnant? What's wrong with her?
Right, because the cripple guy said that the court physician sent over a tonic or a tea special made for her.
Yeah.
By order of the king.
Exactly. And he did not know why Alicent was calling for him. And he confessed for actually sleeping with Rhaenyra and taking away her virginity. And this is what now caused the war, per se, against Rhaenyra. Now Alicent doesn't believes Rhaenyra, and now comes here all the problems that we see later during the wedding, how Alicent is actually against Rhaenyra. So now let's jump to the actual wedding. We see people coming to celebrate, and we see the king, standing and all that, and some people come to the king and congratulates him. In the meantime, Alicent is not over there yet. Even Daemon is not over there. And at some point, while all of them are talking and all that, then Daemon comes, and then there's like tension in the air. I'm not sure if Daemon was invited to the wedding or not, but we can see some people are not happy about him being over there.
I think they were also shocked. I don't think he was invited, because the last conversation that was had between the king and Daemon, if you remember, Daemon was laying on the floor in the crown room.
Yeah.
And he basically said, like, you're never allowed here again.
Yeah.
So it was pretty shocking that he showed up.
Yeah, so...
But the king still embraced him.
Yeah, the king still embraced it because he is his brother, and he's not going to, create a scene.
Right.
So he opened arms, invites, allows him to stay at the wedding. And we also see some people from the Vale basically come to Daemon and say, we know what you did. And then Daemon basically well, since I didn't have heirs with, my wife, my late wife, kind of seems that I'm now Lord of the Vale, so we
fuck off.
Yeah, but let's see if you're gonna do anything, if you're gonna try anything. I do believe by next episode he will be dead. We will talk about what we see or what we know about next episode. But yeah, so the guy basically stops talking, and then we see the king starts to give a speech, and as he gives a speech, who finally enters and comes to the wedding? It's none other than the queen, Alicent. That she is from Old Town. Now, her last name, or before she got married, was Hightower, and she is dressed in green.
Right.
Now, we do get, they do explain to us that in Old Town, when they go to war, how do they declare, we are going to war? They have a high tower, obviously, and the light of that tower is flashing green. It lights green. And she's wearing a green dress, which basically tells us
claiming war.
She is claiming war, I'm going into war. Now, when she finally comes to the table, she, kisses her husband, the king, and she looks to Rhaenyra, and she says, "Oh, my stepdaughter, congratulations." Rather than saying my friend, my sister, Rhaenyra, up till now, she always called her by those names. She never called her my daughter or my stepdaughter.
Yeah, it was very cold, know your place, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm above you.
Not only above you, but our friendship has ended.
Yeah.
Now we are gonna start the dancing. So people now, Rhaenyra and her future husband, Lionel, whatever his name is, they are going to dance, and they tell us this wedding celebration is going to be 7 days, and that by the 7th day is actually the wedding. And we are only on day 1. And we see them dancing. They're doing a ceremonial dance. And in the meantime, Daemon is looking across the table to Lady Laena, and they she's kind of smirking with them and all that. And then they go and dance a little bit, and then Daemon goes and dances with Rhaenyra. And over he basically now talks with her in Valyrian and says, do you really want this? It's not for you. You deserve better. And over here, she is if you really want this, fucking marry me. Take me and kidnap me to Dragonstone. Marry me. Do it. And what I love of her, she knows how to control Daemon. She knows how to call on his bullshit. When
she's the only one, really.
Yeah, she's the only one. She, when he kidnapped the egg and said, "I declare I'm king," and all that. And she comes with her dragon, give me the fucking egg. If you want to be king, kill me. I'm the only one who's stopping you from being keen. And he listens to her, gives her the egg. And over here, she says, like, kidnap me. If you want to be keen, kidnap me, marry me, and all that. We don't know what he does because then there's a lot of crowd. And out of nowhere, Sir Kristen Cole, Rhaenyra's bodyguard, attacks Leno lover. And
Well, no. First, we see Damon talking to Kristen,
Sir,
and he kind of gets in his head a little. Wasn't it Damon talking to him, or
No.
was it the lover?
yeah, it was. So yeah, we see the lover talking to Kristen Cole before all of this, and he says like, we love these people and all that. Let's protect them and all that. And he's kind of threatening him in a way.
Like, I know your secret, you know mine.
Yeah, in a way. But, you're threatening a king's god. He has a fucking sword. Yes, you do have a knife, but he is equipped to battle. He has also armor. You don't. Most likely you're going to die. So it was very stupid of him to,
Sort of try to blackmail him.
yeah,
almost.
to blackmail him and all that. But, yeah, so then we see all these dancing, and then we don't see what happened. And Damon vanishes somewhere. We don't see what happens with him. But what we do see is Sir Kristen Cole beating the living shit off of Joffrey. So the lover guy is named Joffrey. Not King,
really?
yeah, not King Joffrey from Game of Thrones, but a different Joffrey. So
Rhaenyra's fiance's
Lover.
lover's name is Joffrey.
yeah.
Okay.
So Kristen Cole beats the living shit out of him and kills him.
Yeah, that was yucky. That was hard to watch.
I actually loved it. Finally, they show us death. They show us gruesome violence, and they show us all these details rather than skipping it. Like when they killed when Damon killed his wife in the beginning of the episode, they didn't show it to us, and she kind of most likely died in the same way by a stone to the head. He crushed her head. They do tell us, she fell off her horse and her head was crushed from the horse. So,
But we know that's not actually what happens because we see her fall off the horse because he spooked her horse.
yeah.
She breaks her back. She's paralyzed. He tests to make sure that she's paralyzed by stepping on her arm. Then we see him walk away, pick up a giant ass stone, and start walking back towards her, and then that's it.
Exactly. But
Which I appreciated that. It's I don't like seeing all the violence.
well, I wanted to see that. But the thing is, later on, when the guy comes to Damon in the wedding and says, I know what you did to Lady Lena, they found her, her with her back broken and her skull crushed.
Right.
So
Safe to assume it was from a horse, though.
yeah, no, but it wasn't from the horse. We
know that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but it could have looked like it. I get it.
Exactly. But actually, according to the books, yeah, she actually did die in a hunting accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But what I'm saying over here, this character and Joffrey, they both kind of died the same way with their skull crushed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kind of mirroring each other. But then later, because of all this, the wedding was, shortened, and now all the guests are gone, and they marry off Sir Leno and Rhaenyra to one another in the same night, and we see them both not happy. In the meantime, we also see Kristen Cole goes to the woods, not the woods, but where the tree is. And he is about to kill himself with a knife to the stomach. And then the queen, Alicent, stops him. She says, Sir Kristen Cole. And that's it. Like,
Sir Meliodas. Yeah.
Yeah. So she stops him, and we don't know what happens. And then we see the wedding. They get married. They're not happy with everything that happened, and then we see the king falls and dies. But now
We didn't see him die.
Exactly.
We see him collapse.
we see him collapse, but we also
He's not falling to his death.
he didn't fall to his death, but we do see him also throughout the episode bleeding a lot from his nose. We see like he's on
His body's shutting down. Like he's on his way out,
he's on his deathbed basically.
more or less.
Yeah. So then we have the trailer for episode 6. Mm-hmm. And on the trailer for episode 6, we see the king is very much alive, very old. We do see Rhaenyra and Alicent older. Now these are the older actresses playing these characters.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad to see this actress go. I like her.
Exactly. I enjoyed, watching these actresses, and now we are going to, see different actresses, which is why I don't like what they're doing over here, because it's a lot of time jumps. Like, I just finally got connected to these actresses, and now you want me to get connected to different actresses, which is annoying.
Hard. It's hard because you spend the first half of the season connecting to not just their characters, but also the way they're portraying those characters.
Yeah.
And every actress is going to do that differently, whether or not they try to mimic each other. It's still going to be different. They're going to have their own subtle differences, and I hope that they won't
do that much of a difference.
No, I hope that they'll do this first actress's justice, because at least the actress that plays Rhaenyra, who we see more, she does a really, really, really good job. And you see also a lot of similarities between her and Dany.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of connects you also to the other bit of Targaryen storyline that you already know, the other Targaryen characters that we already know. So I really hope that the other actresses portray this character similarly to the way the previous actress did.
Yeah. One can only hope.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but no, so we see over there that she just gave birth, that Rhaenyra just gave birth.
To, like, the third they mention.
Yeah, the third baby, which now we do know her husband is, white hair, and he is black. Mm-hmm. And all of her 3 kids are white. Their skin is white, and their hair is black. And Alicent goes to the king and says, something is not okay over here. One mistake, one baby, okay, but all 3? Something over here is not, which basically...
They all clearly look like Kristen.
Yeah, exactly. They all look like Kristen. And just like Ned Stark said when he read the books, Joffrey, golden head. When all the Baratheon had black of hair.
Yeah.
And that is what made Ned Stark basically... Joffrey is not the actual king, and I'm going to go against this and reveal this to the public, and basically what killed him.
Yeah.
And over here we see, you don't need to look at the hair. You can see their skin. They're all white. None of them are black. But if you don't want to go that way, none of them have,
Targaryen hair.
Golden head like Targaryen, or white hair like the Valyrian. So... obviously, they're not, her husband's Leno children. Mm-hmm. They're all Kristen Cole. We also see that Alicent tells her, son, older son, Aegon, mm-hmm. that he is going to be the king, and he gives a little smile, smirk, thing.
Devilish smirk.
Exactly, and we also see a few little dragons, which is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm. We also see that Daemon marries.
Yeah,
the sister.
The sister, Lena.
Lena.
So Daemon marries Lena, and
they have kids too.
They have kids together, and they are semi-happy with each other. I'm not sure. They do also tell us that ever since the wedding 10 years ago, a decade ago, so what tells us between episode 5 and episode 6, there's going to be a time jump of 10 years.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, that's a very, very big jump. But yeah, that's a lot to expect. I don't know when the king is going to die. They're probably now going to kill him off in the 9th episode. We do know...
I don't know, we'll see. They really spent a lot of screen time these past 5 episodes trying to lead up to his death, and then they're going to jump 10 years in the future to an older king.
Yeah.
It's the same actor, but the character is still alive, which is really shocking.
Yeah, it is shocking the character is still alive. It is the same actor, but no, what I'm saying, episode 9 is always the, what the fuck episode, is always the amazing episode. So I believe they're going to kill him off on the 9th episode. And there is, when we're going to have all the chaos going on. I don't believe he's going to live on till season 2. That is a far-fetched for me. If they didn't do all these time jumps, maybe, but they're doing a lot of time jumps. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to give a huge spoiler that I don't usually do. this spoiler is basically the entire plot of this entire show.
Oh my gosh, you showed this to me. One of your brothers sent this to you, right?
Yes.
You showed this to me, and I was like, like shell shocked afterwards. Like,
yeah. So this is, it's a spoiler and it's not a spoiler at the same time, because technically we did see this a long time ago.
Right. But
so,
no one remembers, so it's...
Exactly. So what I'm going to show you, listen, is from season 3, episode 4, when Joffrey takes Marjorie to the crypts, or to the church, whatever, and to the High Sept, and over there are crypts, and he gives her a little history lesson, and he explains something that ironically is about this show, and mainly, I assume, the end of the show. So it's very, very interesting that we got this huge spoiler way back then, season 3, episode 4. So it is a spoiler for this show, but at the same time, it's not really a spoiler. Anyways, this is the audio, and we will explain a bit after we listen.
Rhaenyra Targaryen was murdered by her brother, or rather, his dragon. It ate her while her son watched. What's left of her is buried in the crypts right down there.
So yeah, that is the huge spoiler that Joffrey Baratheon gave us. You know, this is 2022, a new, completely different show, way before Joffrey Baratheon was even alive, and yet that little fucking prick is still giving us reasons to hate him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so to explain what we just listened to, so Joffrey basically just told us how Rhaenyra Targaryen is going to die. Her brother Aegon, which is Alicent's firstborn son, going to kill her with his dragon, and the dragon is going to eat her, while her son watches the dragon eats her. And
that is so brutal.
It is. It's very brutal, and whatever is left of her body is buried down there in the crypts. So yeah, we now know how Rhaenyra is going to die. So at first I did root for her to sit on the throne, like, yeah, well, girl power and all that. But now that I know how they're going to kill her off and how she's going to die, yeah, I'm not rooting for you. I'm not going to vote for you for throne leader. Yeah. But overall, this was an amazing show, episode. And next episode, can't wait for it. It's going to be even more insane. Episode 6 next week. Yeah.
I'm excited to see, even though there's going to be such a big time jump, I'm still excited to see what they're going to do next with the series.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see. So, like I said in past episodes, we do know Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are rumored to be in the season 2. We do know now that we're going to see young Rhaenyra and Alicent again in season 2, so we do know there are going to be flashbacks. Personally, I want Henry Cavill to be Aegon the Conqueror. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to be a main character in season 2, because if he's the main character, it means he won't be Aegon the Conqueror.
Right.
Which means if he is a main character over there, he might be Aegon, the one who kills Rhaenyra. Aegon, her brother.
Yeah.
Her half-brother that is going to kill her. Which is still awesome, I have to say, but I still prefer him to be Aegon the Conqueror. But yeah, only time will tell. But yeah, until then, I do believe we are done with our episode for today. I'm your host, Joel, and with me today, my lovely, lovely wife.
Me. Just kidding, my name's Batia, if anyone's curious.
Hi and bye. We spoke about Game of Thrones House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 5, mid-season. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and everywhere else you can listen to. You can also listen to on Apple Podcasts, finally. We are Spoilers, obviously, and we will meet you guys all on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.